Welcome back to Inside Justice, our monthly segment with Onondaga County District Attorney Bill Fitzpatrick. It's been about a week or better now or 2 weeks, I guess, that we've been talking about the case of Brad Hulett, who was seen, we see him in the video here. He, unfortunately, he's a man who was hit by a train twice going back 20 years ago, although that's not the reason for this case now. He was seen on video on a Central bus being removed by the Syracuse police, and ultimately they use a taser on him. And then once he's off the bus, they appear to drag him on the sidewalk a little bit, which is the point where he says he broke his hip. All the while, he's facing charges for resisting arrest, which falls right into your lap. Where do you stand on this case, and what do you think will happen with these charges against Mr. Hulett?
We're on in front of Judge Limpert in City Court in, I think, a couple of weeks, maybe I think it's August 24th. I could be wrong about that date. And we're going to have a decision by then about what to do with the charges regarding him. What we're doing now is we're trying to see if there are other surveillance cameras that had angles of what happened outside the bus. I mean, clearly you can see what happened inside the bus. Were there other buses in the area that caught this this scenario? We want to do that. We also want to talk. We want to listen to the radio traffic between the officers. We want to give the officers an opportunity to come in and tell their side of the story. Obviously, we have their reports, but we'd like to hear from them. The thing that disturbs me is that when we got the package from SPD, the officer's report, who actually did the tasing, wasn't included in it. So maybe they thought we weren't smart enough to ask for that. And then when we get the use of force report, well, that's filed, 6 hours after John O'Brien's story hits Syracuse.com.
Right, 3 months after the incident.
Why is that? Why is it? It's like our favorite topic for the last year and a half, Bernie Fine. Why is it that the Deputy Chief of Police files a report, very, very detailed, 3 days or 2 days after the Post Standard files a FOIL request? Why wasn't it filed back a year ago when you claim you wrote it? So that's a pattern that bothers me.
So in your estimation, did Brad Hulett do anything wrong that day?
I'd love to answer that because I have a very strong opinion about that, but I'm going to answer it in court on the 24th.
And does this raise questions when you talk about the documentation by the police department? Does it raise concern in your mind that they're not filing similar reports for other? I mean, they use these tasers with some regularity now.
I mean, the rules are the rules. Every major metropolitan police force has to operate under written protocols, and you have to follow them. So there's consistency. I mean, my office has an office manual that's several hundred pages thick. So if you use a taser, there has to be an investigation and a report. Why wasn't that? Why did it take John O'Brien story to get that report written? I mean, that's a concern I want to answer, and I hopefully will have an answer by the 24th.
And the emergence of that videotape and the lawsuit that's pending now, Hugh Rick Guy and the attorney too,
right,
that made it quite public, didn't it?
Right. Yes, it did. And Rick has been over to see me, and he's said, you can have at my client. You want to interview him, go right ahead. So,
what shocked you the most about what you heard, what you saw? Because it is quite shocking to hear the details and to see the tape.
Well, see, the thing is, you look at these things, Megan, and at its essence, what started all this? A guy standing on a bus. If I grew up in Brooklyn, so we rode the bus all the time. If I tried to sit on a bus, my mother would slap me on the top of the head because she'd say, "See that old lady over there?" So to this day, if I'm on a train in New York City and there's 30 empty seats, I stand because I don't want my mother from heaven slapping me on the head. Why didn't you just say, "Hey, bus driver, he don't want to sit. He's got a bad back," and there's the reason they have straps above the seats is so you can stand. So now here we are. People have already made up their mind about it. I want to wait till all the facts are in, Megan, before I tell you. But I mean, that's what bothers me. At its essence, this never should have been. This never should have happened.
Well, thanks for offering what you can now.
Okay.
We'll talk to you.
Next time I see you, we'll know more.
Yeah, when that comes around again. We appreciate you joining us as you do each month for Inside Justice. DA Bill Fitzpatrick.
Very well.
Thank you. Thanks for participating in the talk tonight. Some of you posted a few questions online too. We appreciate your interaction on our Facebook page too.